What about Sam Elliott? Sam is kind of his own man, I understand. He just works when he wants to, or Lifeguard, of course, was a brilliant piece of work for him, and a lucky piece, and not lucky, I don't mean lucky in the sense...
Well, no, they're all luck. It's all luck, but when
it
came, he was able to produce.
Exactly.
It comes down to that. The jobs I've gotten, it's luck. I mean, the edge you have after so many years, I'm in it 22 years, the edge I have is that your number may come up sooner, and when it does, you're ready for it. That you have the technique and you know what you're doing when it happens.
Now, you worked in the bike movies with Jack Nicholson, of course, and probably Bruce Dern and Peter Fonda. Was he involved? Yeah.
Fonda and I did Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, which was a big
that was
sleeper.
A big cult film and
a sleeper.
Yeah, a sleeper.
They didn't know what they had for a while, and then all of a sudden, wacko! I mean, Fox went, "We got to do another," and you know, that kind of thing.
How was it that? And I don't mean to say this in a derogatory fashion. How come you weren't in Easy Rider?
Oh, that's a... do you have a shotgun, by the way? So I can,
Go ahead.
I got a phone call after doing about 6 bike films already in the 60s, and I was going through a period of my agent would come back and say to me, Adam, they liked you very much for that other type of film, but they're not using bike guys this year. You know, it was that kind of thing. So I figured, let me cool it for a while with bike films, and I get a phone call from Dennis Hopper, and he says, you want to come down to the screening room? We're running Savage 7, Hell's Angels, and Psych Out because we're looking at the cinematographer, you know. So I came down, and there was Fonda, Nicholson. And Fonda turned to me and said, would you like to do a little something in the film we're doing? I said, what do you got? And he said, well, it's a couple of guys on bikes and this and that. I said, Peter, thanks very much, man, but I really don't want to do another bike film. It was Easy Rider.
Props, a gun.
You beat me to it. You got me.
Well, as a matter of fact, I had heard that story before, but I wanted you to tell it with your very own mouth, because sometimes those are apocryphal, but apparently... now, let's not complain, though. You've been a busy, busy guy, and in a lot of... For instance, Play It As It Lays. Now, I don't think there's been a better movie about Hollywood ever made, and I'm a guy that goes back to In a Lonely Place, and
Frank Perry, of course, was...
Frank Perry, sure. Now, he was kind of just getting his feet wet, too, wasn't he?
No,
really, David Lisa, of course.
He's done a lot of films.
But tell us about working with Tuesday Weld and Tony Perkins.
I'll tell you the first thing that is, again, coming straight from me and not a Hollywood story, and it's the truth. I got that job because in the picture itself, in the beginning, the director, Carter Lang, who I played in the film, was directing Tuesday Weld, his wife, in a bike film. It only runs for 13 seconds on the film itself, in Play It As It Lays. And Frank Perry, being the director he is, researched it to a point of where he asked to see bike films. And somebody said, why don't you look at the one with Jack Nicholson in it? And that was Hell's Angels on Wheels, that I starred with Jack in it.
Right.
Richard Rush's film. And he looked at that film, cast me in the role. I got a phone call from him. He said, Adam, Frank Perry. And I immediately went, yeah, I know it's Frank Perry, sure. And I'm Cecil B. DeMille, you know? You know, expect those kind of calls. Anyway, that's how I got the job. And it was, you know, when you talk about luck, that is luck. And then, of course, I was able to do the job once I got it, you know, and on. That's how it goes. And Toni Perkins was marvelous to work with, and Tuesday's a great actress.
Oh, she really is, isn't she? And, you know, she can just do anything. And,
you know, Tony, it took me a while to get used to because I had seen him in Psycho, and it affected me to, I didn't take a shower for 2 years, you know? And, you know...
Well, working those bike movies, who knew?
Yeah, well, it worked for you, you know what I mean? The dirtier you were, the better the bike ran.
Yeah.
But it was, after that, you know, seeing him for a while, he left such an effect on me that, you know, when I'd see him have a tick or something, I'd go, oh my God, it's Norman Bates. You know what I mean?
I'm going to ask you what's current of yours that we might be looking for. I know I've got a list as long as my arm of television stuff that you do, and I don't mean to put that down. We love episodic television, and it's the backbone of the industry. But is there anything,
I have nothing against television.
No, I didn't mean to indicate that, but perhaps you,
because a lot of people
do so much, maybe it doesn't seem as important as it does to
every
people who watch.
Every job that I go into or that I take, I make it important to me because I love what I'm doing. That's the whole key.
I can
You
tell.
love what you're doing.
Well, of course I do.
And I love sitting here talking to you about it because you're being, you know, it's nice. It's a good business to be in. You know, if everyone was, I guess, happy with what they were doing, it would be nice.
Well, it's we're darn lucky. I have to clean that up because it's, I'm not sure what time slot this may eventually end.
For the European version, we can add what you want.
Yeah, we're darn lucky.
We'll loop it in.
Of course. Well, maybe you know and maybe you don't, but the catch line for your movie was, today the pond, tomorrow the world. And by George, we have tomorrow coming up, as every week does, if we're lucky. And tomorrow night we have a terrific movie, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But I have two names I want to throw at you because they were very important to frogs. First of all, George McGowan, whose featured debut this was. Do you ever see George?
I saw him about
the
2
director,
weeks. Yeah, I saw him about 2 weeks ago. We were discussing a movie of the week, which we'll see what happens.
And how about the cameraman, Mr. Tassi, is it?
Mario Tassi.
Mario Tassi, right.
Mario Tassi, right, he did Frogs. And the next time I saw Mario Tassi was the cinematographer of The Stuntman.
Oh, boy. Wow.
So we've all moved up.
What a
bit.
lovely, lovely, lovely piece of news. Yeah. The photography in Frogs was wonderful. Really wonderful.
He's a marvelous guy.
Tomorrow night's movie is Empire of the Ants with Robert Lansing and Joan Collins and a whole bunch of good folks, including Jacqueline Scott, who will be our guest. How about a brief look at Empire of the Ants?